Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
And good day to everybody.
So, because we're doing this on the laptop, I have her holding the microphone, and of course, she made me laugh. Maybe I should have just gone with it because it's like, hold this, and then I go to hit it, 1, 2, 3, and then she like sticks it right up under my nose.
I just want to make sure that I don't get tricked. That's all.
So, here we go.
You got to be cautious around this guy, I'm telling you.
Only she does. Because I just like to play with her. She's such a good sport. GPS data suggests possible large earthquake and tsunami hazard for northwest Colombia. Now, this is really curious because we're going to see the following article. A GPS network data revealed a shallow and fully locked part on the Caribbean subduction zone in Colombia, indicating there's a possible large earthquake and tsunami hazard for the country's northwest region. Colombia is situated in the middle of a complex tectonic zone where the Caribbean, Nazca, and South American tectonic plates, as well as other smaller tectonic blocks, converge. The Caribbean plate is converging very slowly with the northern region of Colombia at 7 millimeters every year, which may be the reason for the long time between large earthquakes in the northwest. So there was a study done that basically showed, you could have a 8.0 about every 600 years or so. Now, the timing of this is what's super, super curious, because we jump over here, Strange Sounds, and we see that volcano discovery was showing a 7.2 earthquake off of Colombia, and then it mysteriously disappeared from quake maps. So, did they just read this study and go to put a 7.2 on? Or did we actually have a 7.2? And, what's up with that? 4 hours ago, and this is from yesterday, a 7.2 quake was reported on volcano discovery, and then it was wiped off the map. And they also put down this record is considered not to be from an actual earthquake. It could be due from some other unknown event causing shaking, such as explosions. Okay, when you see explosions, and that happens all the time with blasting, they're usually very small, very small. Like we could tell when they were doing bombing runs in Nevada on the test site, 0.7, 0.3, 0.5, maybe even as high as a 1. Not a 7.2. I don't even know exactly what something of the size of, say, Zarbamba, which is the largest one that I am familiar with as far as a NUKE would cause. And I kind of doubt it would cause a 7.2. Maybe it would. That would be a curious thing to research. So, what the heck was this? What was this? This is what they posted. So that's a head scratcher. We got to wonder about that. I know our brother Netsaya over there in the greater LA area has caught things disappearing time and time again. But we do have a second Earth-directed solar flare in 2 days. Creates shortwave radio blackout over the southeast portion of Asia. Solar tsunami CME may impact us. And we do actually have a little bit more updated info over here from Electroverse, which does show minor to moderate coronal mass ejection inbound impact on April 25th. So the sun is definitely stirring as we continue the climb towards the solar maximum of solar cycle 25. And so over the past 24 hours, multiple C flares, and of course we had that M flare, have erupted. So obviously we will look for increased volcanic activity as well as earthquake activity, and I do think it definitely also affects us emotionally, energetically.
Oh, for sure. It affects us energetically. Some people it makes them more psychic too. So it's really interesting how Earth and Sun do that to us human beings.
Everything is interconnected. Everything is consciousness, as we say. And we can see that here the sun is waking up, but the scientists, as we're going to see in the next article, are saying that this is going to be a long-term thing that we're going to have to get used to. And I love how they name things like this is the Enlil,
Yeah.
telescope. And boy, don't those look like, well, yeah, they could be taken for winged discs, couldn't they?
Could be.
So, yeah, but did they have telescopes back in those days? As we look over here, and you'll see the blast off. So hang on to your hats. Auroras in the higher latitudes are possible as well. And as we were saying, a new paper uses AI, and AI is saying, this low solar activity is going to continue to 2050. So again, why is BG wanting to spray when we're heading towards colder times? Hello.
I know.
Again, agenda or stupidity?
Yeah. I'll say yep.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we see Proxima Centauri, and this is a very close, actually the closest star to us, shoots out humongous flare with big implications for alien life. This flare is about 100 times more powerful than those emitted by the sun. Excuse me, and this is a red giant. So the implications are that life wouldn't really be likely, according to the way our current thinking is that they've given us, to exist around this star, because it does have a planet that would have been a very, very good, viable prospect for life, because it's very, very Earth-like and in the right location. And Proxima Centauri is a red dwarf, smallest, dimmest, most common type of main sequence star in the galaxy. It's located only 4.25 light years from Earth. Its mass is 1/8 of the Sun's, orbited by 2 exoplanets that we know of at the moment. And Proxima Centauri b is considered to be Earth-like and lies within the habitable zone. But if they were getting bombarded by this type of radiation, they say there's no way life could exist. Or would life exist, but just be different than what we expect, perhaps.
Yeah, I kind of feel it's the latter of what you said.
Yeah, they're always, especially one that's so close to us. Antarctica is the largest volcanic region on Earth, period. And a few years back, they discovered all these active volcanoes over the western side. And, thankfully, of the 2 ice shelves, if the western goes, it'll raise the sea levels less than the eastern. If Antarctica lost all its life, all the regions that are anywhere as close to the sea would be inundated. As you see, 91 volcanoes right there on the western side. The western side would raise it enough to inundate places like Miami, Jacksonville, anywhere along the coast, directly on the coast. But if the eastern side went, then we'd be looking well inland as well. And we do see floods and landslides displace hundreds, and this is in Quiche and in Guatemala, which is a very active volcanic region as well. And again, the floods are everywhere, and this is part of the cycle of more volcanic activity, more cloud nucleation, more rain, more landslides, mudslides. Big, huge question mark. Mud flood soon?
I know, everything's going up, up, and up.
As we said, our good friend David, Adapt 2030, he thinks when the big conjunction of the gas giants happens in 2024, that's when we're going to have a mud flood event. He feels it's very likely. And the rare is not so rare anymore, as we see a rare subtropical storm, Potira, forms off the coast of Brazil. And get ready for the hurricane season. It's getting closer. So, it's probably going to be a wild and crazy year. And we've seen a lot of sinkholes around the globe. And here we see a sinkhole swallows a heavy truck in Rome. Ooh, that looks deep and nasty.
It looks scary indeed.
Yeah, we've seen people get swallowed entirely, especially in China, it seems, with people walking along, and then all of a sudden the ground opens up and people just fall straight in.
That's terrible.
Increase in eruptive activity at Seismoposhnoi, and this is up in Alaska. And, again, when something goes like what we had with La Soufriere along the much, much closer to the equator, that does a lot more than the ones at the poles to cool off the planet. But right now, this one's showing some signs of activity, and there's a plume that goes up to 8,000 feet above sea level. as we have so many volcanoes going off right now. NASA to participate in a tabletop exercise simulating asteroid impact with all the fireballs we see. Here they go. And, I know there's many out there that believe there's another body very, very close to us, hidden from us in certain ways. We've gotten that Nibiru is real, but it's more of a 4D planet. So as we rise up through the vibrational frequency range, it will become more tangibly physical to us and perhaps actually appear in our sky as a physical object.
Yes, indeed. That's what seems to be is going to happen, and we are rising up in frequency. So it'll be exciting to see these changes.
Yeah, well, and isn't this cool? The road is known as the Highway to Heaven in Wyoming. It's a quote-unquote optical illusion because of the clouds and the light and the refraction. Looks like you're actually driving straight up into the heavens.
That's just pure cool.
It is pretty cool. So hopefully there's no echoing on this one. We did a clearing ritual before we started. Try to keep the gray away. It is basically, it's just them trying to, put down the channel and keep us from reaching and doing our mission, as this is our mission, is to help as many as possible wake up during these times. And, I feel like that does include talking about things like what's going on between Russia and Ukraine and China and Taiwan. I saw a comment saying, why are you pushing their agenda? It's like, God, you got to learn how to read between the lines a little. We're not pushing the agenda. We're just bringing you information. And because, events like the 2 world wars, Korean War, Vietnam War, the Iraq wars, Afghanistan, it goes on and on and on. These things happen. They have happened. And so we're not at the point where, as a collective, we have enough people right now to just shift the narrative so that there won't be any more wars, there won't be any more, conflicts. We're hoping to get that point. But you got to be awake, and you have to inform people and let them know what's going on. And then the whole purpose of that video was not about really war. It was about, what are they saying? Okay. And it's not necessarily about Russia. Okay. It's about learning how to read between the lines, which most of you understand. When we're talking about the type of thing being used, and look at the world, do we have to spell this out? Maybe we do have to spell it out, because there are some people that just can't see between the lines, or they just glance superficially. And this is part of, going in deeper, getting used to meditate, to clear your mind, to see things clearly, and develop that regular practice. So you can. So you don't have that monkey mind that's always scooting all over the place and can't see what's going on, because that's exactly what they want. They want people that are unable to focus, unable to really think for themselves and see, again, read between the lines and understand what's going on below the surface. They don't want that. They want people that can only understand what they're told directly and understand the narrative, and thus, believe the mainstream, etc., etc.
Right. To this 3D world we live in, there's a spiritual purpose behind everything, and we try to bring that spiritual purpose out so you guys can see and understand at a deeper level, because that's what it's all about when it comes to awakening.
Yeah, if people didn't speak up about certain things, nothing would be averted. You have to basically call it for what it is, or as much as you can call it for what it is, because in this world we're not really allowed to call it for what it is, or we just don't have a voice anymore. So we have to be a little bit cryptic at times, and we hope that people will pick up what we're putting down, as The Rock would say.
That's right. If not, just ask in the comments. I'm sure somebody will answer you.
Yeah, because the vast majority of people get it that are following the channel. So we want to thank you guys for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. As always, we could not do it without you guys. Anybody that needs to make an appointment, it's evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com or EEARTS@protonmail.com. Make sure you are subscribed to both channels. As always, be prepared out there. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.